Hey guys, what's going on? So ESO Hub have just released a new trading add-on and web feature for Elder Scrolls, and I just want to go over all the benefits and maybe some negatives of this feature, and I want to showcase to you how you can use it to make quite a lot of money in the game. Okay, so if you want to actually download this in game, you just come to the URL here. I'll link in the description. You essentially just want to download the add-on and add it to the game. There's also a web feature if you don't want to get the add-on. You know, this is quite good as well. It basically has all the same features, just a little bit standalone. So whenever we come down here, we can see what the search looks like. So essentially it basically has search filters and save searches. Okay, so we'll go over here for ease. So it lets you pick EU or NA. Okay, it lets you put in an item name if you want to search for a specific item. It lets you put in the maximum and minimum prices for items, the minimum and maximum amounts you want to be. So if you want a stack of 200, you can put the minimum to 200. I'll only show you full stacks. You can also select the rarity here, and you can also have a couple of different options here for like weapons, armor, furnishing plans, things like this. Okay, just to make it a little bit more specific to what you want to look for. And you can save this if you log in, and then you can just one button click that in future, which does really speed up the process and be helpful. So another really cool feature then is that it's going to actually pinpoint on the map exactly where the guild trader you need to buy the item from is. So for example, if we go over here to my search, you know, I want to buy this Alea bookcase. If I click here, okay, it's going to immediately open a new tab for me. It's going to show me the city it's in. It's going to show me exactly where in the city the trader is. Okay, I can just walk there and essentially buy the item, and that's actually pretty fast and good. I think that's a nice feature. So the next thing there is then is individual item pages. Okay, so I actually have one open over here. So essentially what this will do then is it's going to tell you all the listing data. Okay, I would generally not use this too much. I would focus more on sales based data if there is more. So obviously this is quite new, so there's only one sale recorded. But in general, you know, people can list for whatever they want, so it's not always going to be too accurate. Okay, so I wouldn't use that as baselines. I would almost always use the sales data. Okay, the only thing you really want to use is the minimum listing price, because then you're going to see what the best deal is. So if we move on down, again, this is just basically all the ones that are currently listed on EU and NA. Again, here's the listing data graph. So again, I wouldn't pay too much attention to this unless it's an item that's only just been released and there is no sales data, and you want to make a kind of rough assumption. But again, I would usually ignore this entirely. So here's the sales data graph. Now, usually this would look more like the graph above. You know, there'd be different points from different sales, but there has only been one sale of this item, so it doesn't fluctuate, it's just steady. Okay, but this is generally a graph I would look at. This kind of graph is really helpful for looking for a trend if an item is constantly going up in price or constantly going down in price, so you know maybe you shouldn't invest in it, or maybe you should invest and it should continue to go up, things like that. Okay, and then it's just going to tell you the recent sales. Okay, so again, that'll be in the sales data graph, but then generally it's going to be more specific here with the exact thing and the exact person who sold it and the exact guild trader. Okay, obviously there is an in-game add-on. Okay, now this game add-on will pretty much allow you to do everything you can do on the web browser but in-game. Now the thing is also is whenever you hover over an item, for example in this picture drawbacks, it's going to give you the average, it's going to give you the minimum, the maximum, and their suggested price. Okay, I think that's really good. That's something similar to add-ons they already have on PC, but still really good that they're using their own data set from every guild trader. Okay, so the main thing I want to get into then, and I think this is probably going to be the biggest feature of this in general, is that they are planning to allow you to have notification pings via Discord. So essentially what that means is we go over here, we set our filter. Okay, so Alea bookcase. Okay, we can see here the cheapest is 9 million. Okay, say we want to not even buy those. Okay, we want to disregard those for now. We want to make a profit, so we're going to say if one comes up for 8 million or less, I want notified. If that's going to notify me in my Discord as soon as that happens, that means I don't have to really play the game. Okay, I can have this and, you know, 100 other set up for notification. I can just go about my day, do whatever, play other games, anything like that. And if I get a notification to say, you know, one of these has popped up for 8 million or less, I just log on the game quickly, like figure out exactly where it is, go and buy it, list it for, you know, a higher price, you know, 8.9 million, whatever, to make a profit, and then can log off again. Okay, so it kind of is saving you a lot of time in essence of having to run around and look for things yourself, and you also don't have to be on the game. So I'm just going to run you through like a live example of how you can actually do this to make money. Okay, and how you can physically use this fully. So if you come on the web app, okay, you can type in the name of the Alea bookcase. Okay, I'm not going to put in a price range, I'm not going to put in a stack amount because I only ever want one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to narrow down slightly. I'm going to come over to consumables. I'm going to put in that it is a furnishing style or recipe. I'm going to come over here. I know it's a praxis. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's purple because I know it's always going to be purple for that particular praxis. I can then see the two cheapest here around 9 million, and the next cheapest then is 12.8 million. Okay, so I know if I buy these, okay, and I list them for somewhat under this price, I can pretty much make a nice tidy profit off those. Okay, so if I go over to my website, okay, say we're assuming that we're going to sell those for 12.5 million and we bought them for 9 million. Okay, this is our profit, 2.56 million, and that's going to be on each, so we're going to make over 5 million coins. That's going to be really nice in theory. Okay, but obviously we have to take into account that these have been listed for 2 weeks and this has been listed for a week. Okay, so they are a slow sell, but generally in theory those are going to make you money. You can then again go to the sale status. So EU sale, the latest sale recorded was for at least basically 10 million, a little bit less. So I'm confident that I'm not going to lose a million on these. Confident those will sell for like 10 million because that's the only recent sale listed. So I think this is like a positive investment. Now, a little side tip that I would do then is that what I really like about this add-on in particular is that not only does it tell you where you can go to buy this, okay, as it gives you the lister's name. Okay, so for example, I want to message this person, I can copy their name into an in-game mail, okay, and add them. Now, for those of you who don't know, you can basically list an item and it has a listing fee. Okay, so they've already paid the listing fee, but what they haven't already paid is the trader tax fee for selling the item. Okay, now if you don't know, that is 3.5%. okay, so you could message them privately and say, hey, I would like to buy your item for 3.5% less if you delist it now, and I'll give you the money. Now they're probably going to be pretty open to that because they've listed it for a week and it hasn't sold, so they're probably willing to take the trader tax that they would already lose to sell you the item. And in this instance, you're going to make an additional 315,000 coins profit technically, because you didn't have to buy it at the higher price on a trader. So that's something to keep in mind, and something that when you're dealing with really high-end items is really going to make you like that additional money. So now instead of making around 2.5 million, you're going to make around 2.8 million. Okay, so an extra 300k doesn't hurt anyone, and that's just a really good tip. And I quite like that feature of like knowing who's listed it. So in essence, this is a really good add-on in my opinion. This is really helpful. If this is available and you don't use it, you're sort of doing yourself a disservice. I would definitely get the add-on, or at least use the web feature. And if the notifications come out in future, I would definitely be setting those up, because it'd be silly not to. You know, there'd be people making millions of coins and you wouldn't be one of them for no reason other than you weren't bothered setting up the pings. So overall, I think it's quite impressive, quite user-friendly. I'm pretty happy with it, and I would definitely use it if I was on PC, but unfortunately I'm a console scrub, so it doesn't really benefit me, but it's worth reviewing. So while I think if this is available and allowed in the game, you should definitely use it because it's going to be such a benefit and you're going to make so much more money, there are some potential negatives I want to go over just to like make everyone aware. Now this is probably something they haven't really thought of when developing this, and that's completely fine. And this probably isn't going to be a massive issue, it's just issues I can think of that there could potentially be. So I'm going to go over them just for the sake of the video, see if there's anything maybe I can do about it. But generally I'm just going to go over these now. So again, I just want to mention that these aren't specific to this specific add-on. Just any add-on of this nature who does a similar thing, you know, this add-on just happens to do it so much better than others that it's now a bigger problem. But other add-ons aren't like excused from these negatives either. So the first thing I could think of is that this could really open the door for more botting activity and for them to really be able to corner the trading market. So essentially bots are online 24/7 if they have Discord pings. Okay, someone can just send the bot to immediately go and track a Discord ping and go buy the item and then relist the item. Okay, so pretty much like a flipping bot, which, you know, bots mining ores, etc. Okay, that's kind of profitable. But if you can get a bot that's flipping items that are worth millions of coins, like they're going to make so much more money, which could actually be detrimental, I suppose, for the just gold market in Elder Scrolls, because people will be able to probably actually buy gold for a lot cheaper because the bots will make it so much more. They can drop their prices, and overall that'll probably like really hurt the inflation of the game. And it's also going to really affect it if a bot is instantly tracking Discord 24/7. It's going to be really hard for an actual player to use this add-on and beat the bot to buy the item. So that's just something I want to keep in mind there. Again, I don't foresee that being maybe a massive issue, okay, because you can obviously report the bots, and I don't think it's like RuneScape where there's actually like a real big bot epidemic, but there are definitely some, so we'll have to see how that one pans out. So again, just given that this shows you exactly the lowest price of every single item and exactly where to buy it and exactly who's selling it, it could make it really hard to sell items, and it could crash the market as a whole in general. Just because if I'm on this add-on and I see that I can buy something for a few thousand coins less than what I would be able to buy it for at the trader I'm currently at, I'm gonna just go to the new trader and buy it for cheaper. This is just going to cause people to constantly undercut each other and drop the price and drop the price. It's going to devalue items because people are going to want to seal. At the moment, whenever you don't have this, especially on like console, people will just go, okay, this is the cheapest one in this particular town. I mean, I don't want to go any further. I'm going to buy that. Whereas with this add-on, people will just go specifically search for it here and then go specifically to the cheapest trader. So it could really hurt like the merchant stance overall. So people buying and selling things for money could really take a hit, on top of like generally crashing the prices of items. So the next thing would be then is it also affect the need for people to buy a high-end trader. So I know trading guilds basically pay like 20 million coins for their spots and like Mournhold, etc. Okay, there's really not too much of a point to that now if this is widely adopted. So like 50% of players are sort of using this add-on. It's not going to matter as much where your trader is, so those guilds could suffer a little bit and there could be a little bit less point in having your trader in Mournhold. Obviously it's still beneficial to sell to people who don't have the add-on, but in general anyone using the add-on is now not really going to be concerned with where the best trade city is. They're going to be looking at basically, well, where is this item, where is it listed the cheapest. So it's going to just devalue trading guilds in my opinion a little bit. And again, just sort of thinking about the players who aren't going to have this add-on. So some players don't use add-ons at all, they don't know how to install them, etc, etc. So I just think this is going to create a really big divide between add-on players and non-add-on players. So anyone not using this is going to have a really bad experience with trying to trade, flip items, find items, etc. Because all the great deals are pretty much going to be snapped up pretty quickly by people who have this add-on. And the prices are not really going to be what they used to be. So it's going to be quite hard for them to buy an item and resell it for a higher price because they're not going to be able to compete with the minimums generally. And the last thing, again, isn't really like a problem, it's just sort of like an observation, I guess. So essentially what this does is it kind of takes away from the fundamental idea that the developers ZeniMax had for the trading in this game. So essentially they have hundreds of traders in different cities and you don't know what's in them until you go and you have a look, okay, and that sort of is content, okay? So you go into 20 different cities and checking all the different traders and finding a couple of good deals is content, it is trading, it's a nice part of the MMO, okay? If they wanted a big auction house where you could see every item and every price and what's the cheapest, they could have made that because other games have that. Like it's a core concept of different games like World of Warcraft, RuneScape, things like that, okay? So this, if it's mass adopted, again, does really take away from the original idea of going to different traders and, you know, buying the stuff there, because this is essentially an online or an add-on version of a central auction house. It does have the additional step of having to go somewhere, but generally it's not like there's no search and there's no effort. It's just type in the name of the item, find the cheapest, go there. So again, yeah, it's pretty much like a central auction house now. But it is something that players will like. I know a lot of lazy players will really like this. A lot of players won't really care about any sort of repercussions from this as long as they're getting a benefit. That's completely fine. But these are just some negatives I thought that we should probably mention. So yeah, like I said, like I like this add-on. I think it was developed really well, looks really good, pretty user friendly. Like I would definitely use it if I was on PC. It will make you money as of right now. As for basically the negatives and what effect this will have on the market in the long run, and maybe, you know, the botting community, what effects will come from that, we don't know. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But as of for now, as long as it isn't misused, it will actually be like a really good add-on. So I would recommend getting it. Link in the description to it if you want to get it. So hopefully you guys find this video a little bit informational, a little bit helpful. If you did, remember to leave a like on it and subscribe for more content like this. Also, just on a side note, you can also go to my website if you want to use like this profit calculator thing, see how much profit you get after tax. And there's also quite a lot of written trading guides here, so maybe you don't want to actually go and look for everything in a video form. You can, you know, see the video here if you click into it, but also it's just going to give you all of the information here in written form, so you can browse this on like your phone or something if you don't want to be watching the video.